Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Cruise Titans, a brand new series from the Cruise Corner podcast. I'm your co-host, Josie, and I'm delighted to be joined by my co-host, Will. How are you?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, it's great to be here.
It is. So if you're a regular listener of Cruise Corner, you'll know we spend our time exploring the biggest stories, trends, and talking points shaping the cruise sector. But with Cruise Titans, we are taking a slightly different approach. In this new series, we'll be sitting down with some of the most influential figures in the cruise industry, the leaders, innovators, and trailblazers whose decisions have helped shape the sector into what it is today.
Absolutely.
But it isn't just our voices that we want to hear.
Nope.
We want to hear from yours as well. We want to hear from agents who have questions for these industry leaders. We will put them to them on your behalf.
Absolutely.
It's a great opportunity for you guys to have your voices heard by these titans.
Definitely.
Yeah. And we have our first guest, and we couldn't think of someone better to kick it off with. So, Will, why don't you tell us a bit more about it?
No, you're absolutely right, Josie. It's super exciting. You know, we always like to innovate and try new things, and we are really, really excited to kick off this new series. Now, as you're right, we have got probably the best person in terms of Cruise Titan.
Yeah.
If you think of Cruise Titan, you're likely going to think of this person. So I had the absolute pleasure of sitting down with industry icon Dondra Ritzenthaler, the Chief Executive Officer of Azamara, at this year's Clear conference. Now, again, I think everyone who's been to Clear, or maybe not been to Clear, but you would know Dondra from her iconic Lions mentality speech.
So good.
Which I've seen multiple times, and it is brilliant.
Never gets old.
No, not at all. Her command of the stage is excellent, but more so than that, she also has more than 2 decades of experience in cruise, and she has built a reputation as one of the sector's most respected leaders.
Yeah, easily.
She spent just under 20 years with Celebrity Cruises, but for the past 2 years, as I say, she's led Azamara through its massive UK expansion with a new HQ in the UK, its largest ever fleet expansion, and its biggest ever trade giveaway. So there's tons and tons to look forward to from Azamara, as we all know. So I sat down with her to discuss her journey to the top, the evolution of Azamara, her leadership style, and what she believes the future holds for cruising. Now, without further ado, I think we should jump straight into our conversation with Cruise Titan Dondra Ritzenthaler. Dondra, it's great to see you, and thank you so much for joining me today for our very first Cruise Titans podcast episode.
I got to tell you, Will, I'm thrilled to be first. Let's go.
Yes, absolutely. We couldn't have asked for a better interviewee to kick things off.
Thank you.
So obviously we're in Southampton at the moment for the Clear conference. You excited to be here?
I am so honored and thrilled to be here, and I wouldn't miss it for the world.
It is an excellent event, and it's one that we always love to come to as well. We know you're very popular at with some of your incredible speaking slots that you've done in the past.
Yeah, because, I don't want to be normal, Will. You know what I mean? Like we talk about Lions mentality and attitude is everything. We're going to do something like that today as well.
Excellent. Can't wait to see what you come up with this time. So now our podcast, as I've discussed, we've gone through it a little bit before, but throughout your career, you've worked across some of the biggest brands in cruise, and you've led teams through massive periods of growth. Now, this series is designed to help train the future leaders of cruise.
And I love that, by the way.
Excellent. I mean, it's something that we're really passionate about at Cruise Trade News. And, it's also to help them deal with situations that are difficult. Cruise conjures up tons of challenges, as you know. So it's really important that today we'll be focusing on leadership and specifically, ingredients that make someone successful in the industry.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to turn things over to you. What would you say is that first ingredient to becoming a successful leader in cruise?
So, I first want to say, Will, I'm so grateful that you guys are doing this because, leadership and training future leaders, I've always been super passionate about, right? Because this is such a great business and we want to pay it forward. People helped me along the way, and I hope to be a small part of maybe helping somebody else as well. So ingredient number one of, I think, being a great leader, first and foremost, and a great leader taught me this, Will, is that you have to literally surround yourself with people that are smarter than you and then listen to them.
Yep.
Because many times what happens is that people think, in order to be a great leader, I have to be the smartest one in the room and I have to make sure that I'm just telling people what to do.
Yep.
And in fact, that's not how to be a good leader. That first ingredient is to realize that you're not the smartest. Surround yourself with people that are passionate and smart, and then listen to them. And I believe that's ingredient number one.
And it's sort of about being that sponge almost, absorbing everything that's around you. And as you say, don't get in your own head about it. Just listen.
And be humble. You know, many times people are like, by the time you get to be a CEO, you're supposed to know everything. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be smart enough to know that you know everything and fully take advantage of it.
Absolutely. That's a great ingredient. What would you say the second ingredient is then?
Ingredient number two, I think, is to create a culture, right? If you really want to be a successful leader, you've got to create a culture for the entire company and then make sure everybody is aligned on what are we focused on, right? What's the goal? What's the prize? And then make sure that everybody is mentally, emotionally, physically in a space where they feel valued and loved and heard, because what that does is that creates a culture. And when you get culture right, and the leader has the culture right, and then everybody else follows, to me, that's the best way to be successful as a company, because everybody is on the same page and everybody feels valued and a part of the team.
And that's so important, especially in cruise. I feel, as we mentioned, there's a lot of challenges in the industry.
Always.
And having everyone on the same page and singing from the same hymn stream is so key to success of not just an individual, but as a brand and a company as well.
100%. Because one thing we know is that there's always something. Right? We know that, right, everybody? We know that there's always something.
There's always something, absolutely. And your final ingredient then, what would you say the third ingredient is?
And I think my final ingredient is right along that way, right? But I call it don't be normal. You know, you talked about the fact that I've come to this CLIA conference and, you know, I don't wear normal clothes, and I talk about Lions mentality and, you know, attitude. And we talk about what makes a good leader is to know that you're not the smartest one in the room. All of that to me is the third ingredient, which is don't be normal.
Yeah, I love that.
Right?
Yeah,
Don't be like and do what everybody else does. Because that's normal and predictable, right? So if you really want to create a strong leadership team and be a strong leader, don't be normal and be, you know, treat people the way you want to be treated, right? You and I have a friendship because I want you to treat me and I want you to treat others and I want to treat others the way I want to be treated, right? So don't be normal. You know, if everybody else is going left, go right. If everybody else is, you know, complaining about EES or, you know, CMAs that have snuck up on us, embrace that and move faster so that other people will still be struggling and you're not being normal and you're moving forward. And I think when you do that, that's the third ingredient. And if you put all of those ingredients together as a leader, I think you'll have a brand that's successful, a team that's successful. But if you put those three ingredients together as an individual who maybe isn't the CEO of the company, you know, maybe you're a national account manager, you're a Stu, or maybe you're a David that just runs the countries. I think those apply to everybody at every level.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what's important about those ingredients. What makes them so great is anyone can take them on no matter where they are in their career.
Absolutely.
It's something to get you to that next stage.
That's right.
Brilliant. Dondra, I could chat to you for hours, but I know we're a little bit pressed for time and I really want to get onto our Ask the Expert segment. We've spoken to a couple of our listeners, a couple of our agent listeners who've got some questions for you.
Bring it on. Let's go.
Our first question comes from Emma Otter from Travel Counsellors. And she asks, what's the biggest decision you've made, which was a bit of a gamble, but it paid off?
Thank you for the question, Emma.
Emma, yeah.
Emma. You know, throughout my entire career, I've had to take risk. And I think taking calculated risk and having the strength to do that and alliance mentality to, you know, not be afraid, I think is super important. But one that's super obvious, right, is that I left Celebrity Cruises, had a wonderful career there, loved the people there, and decided that it was time for me to go. And the biggest risk I've ever taken is to come and be the CEO at Azamara Cruises. And I believe humbly, Will, that it's paid off. And the reason that I think that is because of everything we just talked about with leadership and culture. I work at that every day to make sure that every employee at Azamara Cruises feels that, number one.
Brilliant.
Number two is that we are a very travel agent-centric brand. 90% of all of our product is sold by travel advisors. And we love them and we need them. And the reason that the gamble has paid off for me is that travel advisors, not only in the UK, Ireland market, but globally, have really, really wrapped their arms around us. So that's the risk, and I think it's paid off for that reason.
Absolutely. Great answer. And Our second is from Kirsty Van Wyck of KVW Luxury Travel, who asked a little bit more product-focused question.
You got it.
Following
Hello.
the collaboration between Seabourn and Uniworld, offering combined itineraries for guests on luxury and river, is that something Azamara will look to do in the future?
You know, I'm open to any and every idea. You know, right now we are so maniacally focused on Azamara Cruises, those 4 beautiful ships. We're spending $80 million, Will, I'm sure you saw that, to do what we're calling Azamara Forward. But just like being open-minded to, you know, surrounding myself with people that are smarter, when the right idea comes, I can promise you I'll be wide open to it, just like I think they are.
Yeah, brilliant. I think that's absolutely correct. And our third and final question, and it's from Emma again, because I think it's such a brilliant question.
Emma, I like you. Call me.
And it's an excellent question. If a movie was to be made about your life, who would play you and why?
Oh, there's no question. I don't know if you guys know this movie that Sandra Bullock was in, which was called, it was about Michael Orr. It was, I'm blanking. It was a football movie, and I love sports, Will.
Yeah.
And Sandra Bullock played the mom of a young man who became this very famous football player.
As well.
And the character that she played, I really feel like she was just playing me.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I have 2 kids and we always grew up in sports. And I would love for Sandra Bullock to play me.
Yeah.
Because I think she's fabulous and I think she's humble and she's down to earth. And so it would have to be her.
That's an excellent choice. Excellent choice. I think, Emma, hopefully that answers your question.
Blindside. Will, that's the movie.
Great movie.
Blindside, you got to watch it.
Great movie as well.
But, you know, her heart is big. Yeah. She's a humble person. And I'd like to think I kind of look like her. She's just much younger, everybody. Way younger, way younger.
Spitting image. So finally, Dondra, as I say, I know we're very pressed for time here, but I'd like to finish off with one final question. You've seen this industry evolve across decades through huge moments of change and innovation. So when you look ahead, what's the one thing the cruise industry must get right over the next 10 years if it wants to continue on?
Absolutely. So terrific question. And Will, as it's the last question, really thank you for having me.
No, thank you.
And I'm so humbled and honored to be the #1 Titan. And that means the world to me. I think it's technology, my friend, because when you look now at ChatGPT, Claude, you know, all of these AI tools, I think we as an industry, we'll go one way or the other way. We'll embrace it and we'll leverage it, or we'll fight it. And I think that we'll keep building beautiful ships as an industry. Yeah. We'll keep, you know, embracing travel advisors, all the things that you see today. But what we've got to do is we have to understand that when something like a piece of technology or like an AI, if we don't embrace it, and we stay where we are, I think that's going backwards. Yep. And so that would be the answer that I would say, because then we can leverage it to be more innovative, more efficient, you know, and those types of things. And so if it was just one thing, I would say that.
Definitely. I think that's an excellent thing to take away and a great thing to finish on as well. Dondra, thank you so much for joining us for our first Cruise Titans episode. It's been excellent to chat, and I can't wait to hear what you've got to say at the Clear Conference.
Thank you. And I'm humbled to be here. And everybody, I want to say thank you. And I really want to applaud you for doing this, because helping move forward for future leaders, I personally think is so important, because I love this business. Yep. I love Azamara Cruises and I love travel advisors, and anything that we can do to keep this business moving forward, I love being a part of. So thank you, my friend.
No worries at all. Thank you so much, Dondra.